applications for college.
Where did you apply? I've forgotten.
Harvard, Yale, Princeton, University of Michigan.
Ah, the University of Michigan.
Yes, yes.
In 1995, a white woman named Jennifer Gratz applied to the University of Michigan's College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. She was rejected due to the college's unique admission process, which ranked each applicant using an 150-point system, having 100 points guaranteed admission. Underrepresented ethnic groups were given an automatic 20-point bonus on this scale, whereas a perfect SAT score only accounted for 12 points. This gave minority applicants an advantage that would sometimes result in students of a different ethnic background than white getting in with fewer qualifications than whites who were qualified to attend the university.
Oh, an email from Michigan. Waitlisted? With my scores? I was an A-ish, B-ish student.
Mostly B-ish.
My daughter Jennifer, she wasn't the best student. She got A's and B's, mostly B's, but she did not deserve this fate.
2 years after Jennifer Gratz was denied from the University of Michigan, Barbara Grutter, a potential law student with a GPA of 3.8 and a score of 161 on the LSAT, was denied admission from the university's law school. Grutter saw this as reason to sue the university for their affirmative action admissions policy, which she believed had prevented her from being admitted to the school. Gratz, also concerned by this, was approached by the Center for Individual Rights.
Come in. Hello, Mr. Gratz. I represent the Center for Individual Rights.
Pleasure to meet you, son.
Nice to meet you. Now, recently, your daughter was waitlisted by the University of Michigan, correct?
I'm afraid so.
We think that it is offensive and rude to give minorities a 20-point bonus just because they believe that our education is inferior. It's just absurd. And now, what I'm proposing to you is to sue, because it is unconstitutional to give minorities an advantage solely based on their race.
That does seem quite preposterous. Perhaps I will. I will be in contact with you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, hey, Dad.
Hey, son.
Just got done with football.
It's fun.
Yeah, we beat some nerds.
Good. Nerds suck.
So, like, Michigan, they put me on their wait list.
Why?
I don't know, but I have, like, B's and A's, and I got a decent score on my SAT.
But I founded the fraternity Delta 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 there. That's disrespectful of them.
Patrick Hamacher, who applied to the College of Language, Science, and Arts the same year that Barbara Grutter applied to the university's law school, also chose to file a lawsuit against the school. Hamacher and Grutter were represented by the Center for Individual Rights alongside Gratz. Hamacher stated that he believed the university was artificially engineering their diversity quotas and discriminating against others.
We should sue them.
We should sue them.
God. Yeah, I'm gonna go football practice now.
Good. Bring the basketball with you too. That makes sense. Hike!
Although many agree with providing minorities with advantages in order to be more likely to further their education, it's seen by others as an overcompensation by the privileged towards the underprivileged. After the peak of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, African Americans still faced disadvantages in educational opportunities. Affirmative action was put in place to stop that. In an attempt to compensate for disadvantages black applicants and youth faced in areas of their lives, including their education, universities adopted policies that were designed to increase diversity within top schools, such as the University of Michigan. Gratz, Grutter, and Hamacher filed lawsuits, resulting in their respective cases against Lee Bollinger, the president of the university at the time.
Good evening. I'm Lee Bollinger. The University of Michigan vigorously defends its use of race in admissions decisions as a means of achieving a diverse student body and asserting that it has a constitutionally sufficient, compelling interest in achieving a diverse student body. We will stand by our programs. I'm Lee Bollinger, and I will fight for Michigan's admissions program.
When lost, the case was then appealed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit, which covers Eastern Michigan cases, as well as districts of Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee, a regional court for the country. The Supreme Court then heard the case. In the Sixth Circuit Court, it was ruled that the University of Michigan's interest in increasing diversity in an educational setting was an appealing notion. Under the 14th Amendment, diversity is seen as a necessity, and the admissions program in the eyes of the judges was tailored to advance the interest of including people of different racial backgrounds. The district court also ruled that it was not unconstitutional to use race and ethnicity in determining admission. Race-blind admissions are not required by the constitutional law and therefore do not apply to the University of Michigan. The Supreme Court ruled that this practice at the University of Michigan, however, was unconstitutional, that every equal protection case had to be viewed in an extremely detailed context, but that this case did show an unjust system had been set in place for granting admissions.
Are declared unconstitutional.
Gratz and Hamacher had succeeded in overturning the point system for the School of Language, Science, and Arts. However, Barbara Grutter, who had applied to the law school, did not win the favor of the Supreme Court. The court believed that in applying to the law school, individualized consideration is guaranteed to every applicant, and that trying to achieve a narrowly tailored balance in diversity would suit the needs of that branch of the university. With the undergraduate program at Michigan, a 20-point boost on a scale where only 100 points were needed meant that the minority applicant had a large leap ahead. In the law school's application process, this wasn't necessarily true.
I'm really relieved with the outcome. I'm really glad the court, in a 6-3 decision, found the admissions process quite unconstitutional. Right, son?
Yeah, but they still held up affirmative action, so it's like good.
Daddy and I were thrilled that it was overturned.
Right we are, my princess. Right we are.
The ruling of this case was geared with the consideration that in the future, say 25 years from the conclusion of the case, affirmative action would no longer be needed. Diversity would be achieved as a result of having affirmative action for a specific period of time in schools' admissions policies. As Sandra Day O'Connor said in her court statement, race-conscious admissions policies must be limited in time. This held with the case for Bakke versus the University of California, which ruled that although racial consideration was allowed in admissions policies, quotas could not be set in place. It was believed that the University of Michigan was attempting to fill a quota by allowing minority students a 20-point head start in the admissions tallying. The point system was removed from the University of Michigan, and the Supreme Court's opinion on affirmative action in regards to minority admissions at schools was solidified.